You have searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, you, Lord, know it completely. You hem me in behind and before, and you lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go up to the heavens, you are there. If I make my bed in the depth, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. I'll never forget, I was fresh out of high school, attending a preparatory course before going to university. And it was a very hard time in my life, you know. I had recently lost my father. I was still figuring out what to do as a profession. I was so insecure. The preparatory course was also very competitive. The career I was planning to take was hard to get in. And to top it all, there was this one guy that I really liked, and I saw him kissing some other girl in the school. It was not an easy time. I remember walking in the class. It was the English professor who was lecturing, and he was very known in the course. Everybody really liked him. He was so funny and very captivating, you know, the way he would teach the lecture, but also he was captivating because he would be going out with the students, you know, some of them like had smoking weed, he would smoke with them. He would hang out with the girls and everything. And above all, he was a very good teacher. And that one day I remember he was going a little beyond. He started giving these examples with a lot of violence, and the babies and the moms would always be dead, and all of them would have cancer. But then things got really bad when he actually started speaking against Jesus and against my beliefs and against those who believe in Jesus. So I just got my backpack and I decided to leave the class. I went in this long journey back home, having a very serious conversation with God. It was about 40 minutes of introspection and just pondering and wondering, how could that man, who appeared to be so wicked, you know, in his ways and his words and his attitude, be so prosperous? Not only he was, you know, probably getting rich because these courses pay very well the professors, you know, but he was also rich in his relationships there. A lot of the students actually enjoying themselves being with him, going out with him. And then I was just looking at my own condition, you know, and my own situation, and I felt so sad and upset about everything that I was going through and seeing no prospect of a way out. Then I was coming close to my home. I arrived, my street was very filled with trees, and I could just see around the nature surrounding me. And I came to a conclusion that, well, it's true, he was there prospering, but I knew the end of the wicked. I knew that this couldn't go much farther, and he would eventually, you know, harvest that. I opened the gate, opened the door, and surprisingly, my sister was there, my older sister. She was home, and she turns to me and she says, "Sabina, I was waiting for you." And you know, at that time they didn't have like find my friends like we have nowadays in the phone. So she couldn't really know that I was coming back home. And she told me, she said she knew I was coming back home and she was waiting for me. And that's because she was praying. She said, Sabina, I was praying here and I felt like you were going to come back home earlier today. And God impressed me to give you 2 passages in the Bible. First one, go and read Psalms 73. And then another passage in the book of Songs. And I rushed into my bedroom, just took off my backpack and got my Bible in my hands. And how surprised I was when I opened Psalm 73 and I realized that every verse, and it's a long psalm, 30 verses, and every verse was just exactly what I was thinking during that journey back home, from the beginning to the end, from my first ideas until the conclusion I had. It was just perfect. I felt so seen by God. I felt like He knew me so much. And just as Psalms 139 says, before a word is on my tongue, He knows it completely. Everything that you have in your mind, in your thoughts, He knows it. At that moment, I had the certainty that not only He knew me fully, but knowing me fully, still He loved me so much. I want you to know that the God who knows me, He knows you as well. And I invite you to step in that relationship and discover a God who is widely in love with you. Many people believe that the Bible is just a book of stories. And through this project, I'm curious to get to know what are your stories with the Jesus that is spoken about in this Bible.